Hi. So I'm going to be jarring up some green beans and getting them ready for canning, and then canning a batch of green beans, and I'll show you how I do that. Green beans are 10 pounds of pressure, at least in my area, and I'll can them under that 10 pounds of pressure for 25 minutes, just like bone broth. So I had 2 jars of bone broth left over from the other day when I did the bone broth canning. So today I will add the 2 that are left over along with, but I want to show you how many green beans that we got. So it's quite a bit. So I'm going to go ahead and jar up these green beans. In these jars, they're all cleaned ahead of time, and I'll go ahead and start doing that. Alright, so we're going to put the green beans in. I'm going to try and keep them separate because they're a different type of bean. These are bush beans. I don't think I like doing bush beans. Well, maybe a few jars will have some purple ones in it because, well, there's that. I don't think I like bush beans just for growing because they're best if you grow them in a raised bed, which I guess if I was trying to fix the nitrogen in my soil, which might not be a bad idea, growing green beans is good for that. But so I'm doing it till I have like about a ½ inch head space there. Oh, I'm way above, about ½ inch of head space there. And we'll add more if we need to. I'll do some mixed because I have so many that are. Now I'm going to fill them with water and salt. I'm going to put some salt in it, and we'll start closing up or wiping off the rims and then putting the lids on, and we'll start our canning process. So I'm going to go get some water. Alright, so I use, and I've talked to you about this before, I use the gray Celtic salt. I am going to try some other salts eventually, but this flavor is phenomenal, and it's phenomenal in cooking, and it tastes really good, and has all of its minerals and nutrients still in it, and it hasn't been, like, it's a moist salt. Anyway, I'm going to put a pinch. I'm not measuring it, but I'm going to put a pinch in each one. It's very salty salt, so I don't want to put too much, you know what I mean? But I'm going to put a pinch in each one, then I'll add water, and I have a little tool. Let me show you that. So this little tool right here, I'm going to try and get the head space right, and then also tap it to make sure that there's no bubbles and air pockets, right? Because we don't want that either. So I'm just going to do like a small pinch in each one. Now this is salty salt, right? It's not like your table salt. It's salt. It seems saltier, but it's better received by your body than table salt. Table salt has all of its nutrients removed and has things added. Sometimes table salt has dextrose added to it, which is an addictive stuff. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and pour. Let's see. I'm gonna do to there, and I bet I'm gonna have to do lots of refilling. So let me get a better system down.
Little when the sun goes down, we could walk this autumn town, find a place to be alone, look into your eyes, feeling butterflies. We could dance under the stars, fall into each other's arms. Nowhere else we need to be, just you and me. We can lose this love, so hold on to what we know we have. Hold on to moments that we've shared. Hold on if all we have is just each other. Everything will be fine. Just hold on.
So now I'm going to take this tool and I'm going to use this back side. Okay. And I'm just going to go through here like this and make sure that there's no air pockets and kind of really push everything down. Then right here is like 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, 1 inch. So we want to go here and you set it on 1 inch, you set on your lid, and that it's not touching, you got 1 inch of head space, right? And that's how you do it. So this one is ready to go. I have my clean lids. Oh no, sorry, I can't put that on there yet. I have to rewash that. I have to do the vinegar. See, I'm getting distracted.
Just hold on. Little when the sun goes down, we could walk this autumn town, find a place to be alone, look into your eyes, feeling butterflies. We could dance under the stars, fall into each other's arms. Nowhere else we need to be, just you and me. We can't lose this love, so hold on to what we know we have. Hold on to moments that we've shared. Hold on if all we have is just each other.
So we ended up with 14 quart jars of green beans. So and that's just off of a little bit of bush beans and then mostly 2 half trellises, so 1 whole trellis full of beans. That's pretty fantastic if you ask me. I'm gonna go ahead and put in the last 2 jars of bone broth and then some green beans into the canner, and we'll start getting that ready to vent for 10 minutes so that we can begin canning. All right. So I want to do a little thing. Here's, I was able to actually get an additional jar in there, which I haven't been able to do before. So I get a total of 6 jars in there, which is great. Because this is going to help me out. Because I make about 6 jars for each batch of bone broth. So it means each batch can be canned at once. So fantastic. These 2 are bone broth. These 4 are beans. And we're going to go ahead and get that started. Over here is what we ended up canning yesterday together. So these ones we did our first batch and I recorded content. This was the second batch that I completed. They have to rest out on the counter for till they completely cool down before they can be put away. But so probably at the end of today I'll probably put these away. They're still teeny tiny bit warm, but I don't know if that's just the temperature of the house or if these are actually still needing to cool down. We're going to go ahead and get our first batch of green beans for this year and our bone broth, remaining of the bone broth done, and we're going to get that started, and then I'll get back with you when we go through that whole process. I'll go through it again with you, and then it'll be great. So thanks. I will catch you again. Anyway, so the beans are sitting at about 10 pounds of pressure, teensy bit over, maybe by a dash or whatever, not enough to be concerned about. And I have about 15 minutes left. But I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I'm reading to help me in our food journey to change our lives, our health, right? Through the power of organic food and processing and preserving and growing, harvesting, or whatever. So this is my canning book that I use now. I'm a beginner canner, so I'm not real experienced, but it has a lot of good ideas. It's not necessarily always the healthiest recipes, but for a beginner canner, it's a great book to go by, and it's from Ball, so it really does a great job of following the canning safety guidelines. Anyway, I got this off of Amazon. If I can find the link, I'll put it in the description of this video. And then the other thing that I do for my bone broth is, this is from the GAPS diet and the gut and psychology diet. This is something that I'm really seeking passionately for our family regarding healing our leaky gut issues. Edward has it, I have it, Paisley has it. In addition to that, Paisley has autism, and changing the way that we eat and process food is going to have a huge positive impact on her ability to be productive as a young adult in society. So this is something that we're really going after, and one of the many reasons why we chose to homestead was to really take control of our food and our bodies and our health. We've really just have suffered a lot. All right, sorry about that. My battery died right in the middle of a sentence. So yes, taking control of what we're putting in our bodies, and taking responsibility for our own health. I mean, I would go to the doctor and they'd be like, "Oh, Mrs. Bowerly, you know, you're fine, you know, you don't have diabetes, but I'm heavy set, right? You have high blood pressure, but it's not too concerning." But never once did a doctor say to me, "Hey, Gloria, you have these things that are elevated in your blood work. It would be good for you to change the way you're eating, and here is a dietitian, and here are some diets that you should follow." But not once in my journey have I had that. Now, I'm not an idiot, and I know that I needed to change my diet, but in doing a lot of research, the only way I can afford to eat the way that our bodies need in order to heal from the damage of processed foods is to grow our own, because it is outrageous, and I don't think I'm alone in that. So this is the very beginnings of our journey, right? So it was first when we first moved to Maine, I bought like 600 pounds or $600 worth of locally grown organic chicken, and I bought bones, and it was very expensive. It was like $600 and it didn't even fill half of our freezer. And I was just like, gosh, I really do need to grow my own chicken meat. And so that being said, we've been here on the farm. This is our second year, and we will be harvesting our chicken soon, one of our batches of chicken. And last year I deboned a lot of it because I needed a lot of bone broth, but I go through it like nobody's business. We drink it, it goes in if we're in our cooking, and when I'm making gravies, when I'm making soups, and stuff like that, and super good for us. So all right, so our beeper just went off. You can see that it's been at 10 pounds of pressure, and our beeper just went off. So I'm going to go ahead and take the burner and turn it off. Yep. And then it'll sit and decompress all on its own. And when it does that, I'll open up the lid, bring you in here, we'll pull them out and show you what we can together. All right, so our canner is completely decompressed. We're gonna take off the weight, right? And then we're gonna open it up. And that's all you need to open it up. And then I take these two things. You probably have pot holders, but I just have one. Then I take it, lift it off, and then I tip it up so that the steam is not going towards my face. Right? And so here we go here. Now I think we have a broken jar because it looks like there is some bone broth or something in there because there's a lot of liquid, but I don't know. We'll have to see. I'll have to see. Green beans, look at all the purple beans turned green. Yep, we did. We have a broken jar. But all the purple beans that we put in did turn green. That is so cool. But we do have a broken jar, so clearly that's gone, and that's sad, right? We lost a jar of broth. And I'll show you here. If you look, it's crooked. I don't know if you can tell. But I have a ring around there, so I'm gonna have to wash this out before we do our next one. But yeah, it's totally broken. So it happens sometimes in canning, right? So that's okay though. We still got an extra thing of bone broth. We'll go ahead and wash this out. I'll throw away the jar, and we will add fresh water and start our next batch. So I thought, since I had to wash out the canner because that one jar of bone broth broke, I thought I would show you how to, what I'm talking about as far as the bottom of the canner. So right now there's nothing in the bottom except for some clean water. I've cleaned this out. This is what goes on the bottom, and these are the little things that put the distance between the bottom of the pot in that. And then here's the tray that all the jars sit in. Now I don't know why that one broke, because I do the cold packing, but all the more reasons why I do it. So we have a good amount of space. Here's the purple beans that we're putting in. We'll go ahead and start processing another batch. Oops, sorry. There we go. Purple beans, we'll start processing that next batch. And I don't like it that that one broke, but that's okay. It could have been compromise to begin with. I don't know. But there we go. We have a good amount of space between the jars, and this should be sufficient. I'll go ahead and put the lid on it, start to bring up the heat, and we'll begin processing. I wish we could move everything closer to get one more in, but I tried and it doesn't work. So we'll just have to go with the 5 or 6 jars at a time. So anyway, there you have it, a canning issue and how I resolved it, and then of course putting in our next batch. But that's how you can green beans.